They're owed millitudes. Millitudes?
Multitudes?
Multitudes. Millipedes?
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, I am Ramona Ramirez Higgins. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Dude, not good.
Not good.
Well, bitch.
Summer should be fun. This reunion part 3, not fun.
They saved the worst for last.
Honestly.
You were saying like there's so much to talk about. It's like yes and also nothing because those two liars just dug in, lied, picked a story, tried to stick with it. I've experienced a lot of shitty liars in my life, but this was a whole new level. I just can't believe how unaffected they were. And meanwhile, I'm over here like my feelings are hurt. I'm upset. I'm distraught. I'm devastated for the group. I don't know these people. I won't think about them again after next week for quite a while. But like, that was just so, what a bad showing. West and Amanda, you two zombies.
I mean, brought to you by benzodiazepines. I would put my life on it.
I wish we could blame it on the drugs. I think they are bad people who have decided to lie, and they used a beta blocker so they didn't flop sweat while they carried it out. It was just
beta blocker is child's play. They're on the Ativan, the Xanax, the Klonopins, the Alazaprams.
I hope so, but I also I do wonder if they are just such, like Ciara said, sociopaths that they are able to show up on a stage, go dead inside, and deliver a script they decided on together and just wait till the buzzer rings and get out of there. It was what a gross display.
Which is, and I know we'll get there very shortly, imminently, which is why Bailey is now officially dead to me.
Now, see, I got your text and I understand your perspective. I have a slightly different, she's not dead to me because she didn't say, oh, poor baby. She said, I'm worried about you. I don't trust him at all. He's going to embarrass you. Like, it just feels like she was trying to say, hey, there's a freight train coming at you. Care to step off the track? But she didn't pull her off the track. She didn't say, everybody help Amanda. She just was like, I'm worried about you because you're in danger, girl. But she didn't do anything active.
I hear what you're saying.
Quietly during a break and then didn't say a word, And I think that showed some humanity and did not go further than that because Amanda doesn't deserve anything.
She doesn't. We'll get there.
But nobody deserves anything, Nobody deserves anything good or anything bad. So
I hear that technically, logically, intellectually. Emotionally, I am not there. Emotionally, I am extremely resentful that care was extended to someone who you just got done saying might be showing sociopathic tendencies. Mm-hmm. And if I had seen any of that care expressed towards Ciara, maybe I would be a little bit more open.
You don't think Bailey was supportive of Ciara in those first two?
I think that given what she has said on Watch What Happens Live and given what they showed us on last night's reunion, I think her focus on who needs care is skewed.
I just don't think it's as black and white because during this episode, she turned to Meija and said, like, why the fuck would Dave Portnoy get involved? Like, he's not lying. Amanda's lying.
And I took all of that into consideration.
She's not, like, trying to paint, like, whitewash this, so to speak. Like Kyle said, if, he worries about Amanda's parents. And if I was Amanda's mom, I'd be glad someone said, like, come sit here. You're being stupid. You shouldn't trust him. He's going to make an ass out of you. Have a good second half.
I guess if Amanda gives a shit, then fine. But
she doesn't.
She doesn't care. She's not interested. in
But
help.
I don't think you can know that until you know, because
I don't
Bailey's
know.
friends with Lindsay, not Amanda. So I think she doesn't know Amanda very well. You know, as another human being on this planet, it's so, and I'm with Jesse and everyone else up there. It's Kyle, Andy, everyone was struggling with this can't really be what you're doing right now. This can't be it. You can't continue to lie, right? What are you doing? Like, I think everyone was trying to be like, what the fuck is going on? Andy was like, you're so unaffected. What are you on? Amanda, talk to Ciara. Hey, do you care about anyone? You guys are monotone, like nightmares. And I think that was just Bailey's version of like, dude. And I think everyone by the end, you know, Jesse was in tears. Andy was like spent. Kyle broke down in tears. I don't think it was because he misses or loves Amanda. I think it's because he sees she's gone to the fucking dark side. But it takes a minute to believe that people that you knew in one way are capable of being who they really are. Like Jesse said, you know, and Kyle said, like, what goes on in your real life is shocking news and hard to digest. Your secrets are, I can't even process it, and I don't know these people. I don't think Bailey was like, I don't think that was intended as any like, I got you, girl. It was like, come sit here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, bye.
I hear you. I hear you. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We are here to talk about the most riveting season of Summer House, the most riveting Bravo franchise in recent memory. I mean, Meredith screaming on a plane. What? Who cares? Who cares? But this is so awful. It's so awful. Like, I think I'd rather have it be, is Meredith screaming on the plane? I want to see that footage. I mean, that's also another brand of terrible, another type of terrible. But this is like, I am so sad. I am so tired of seeing Ciara be systematically just violently disrespected by two emotional fucking terrorists, you know? I mean, poor Jesse, my God, he really went through it. He really went through it. Everybody on that stage showed more of themselves. Ben, whatever, Bailey, Meija, Lindsay, all of them showed more. They gave and gave and gave. Carl, my God, they gave and gave and gave. I'm grateful that we have another episode. There are many unanswered questions still, and we're not ready to be done. Who knows if they're going to give us anything else after the secrets revealed or whatever it's called. My point is that, Margie, you and I are here to discuss Summer House Season 10, Episode 19. This is Part 3 of the reunion. The extended cut on Peacock is only an additional 6 minutes, but if you have access to Peacock, and if you find yourself not quite done, I recommend you go back and watch it for the 6 extra minutes they didn't show on Hulu or cable or whatever last night when it aired. Jesse's explanation for his strong feelings was not in the one that was broadcast on when it aired on Tuesday night, I don't think. So I highly recommend, if you have access to Peacock, going to see that one. But in this episode that we're talking about right now, we open with the cast making their way back to the soundstage after their 1-hour lunch break. We see Ciara wrapping up her phone call with Meija. And this is where we have Bailey on stage as Amanda walks out, and Bailey waves her over to the couch so she can check in with her. And Bailey tells Amanda, I'm genuinely worried about you. And Amanda says, you know, maybe I'm naive, but West and I have had conversations that made me trust him. Bailey says she doesn't trust him at all. Amanda says, maybe that's a huge mistake, but it's hard to be on stage and try to explain myself, but nobody's listening. Nobody's listening, Amanda, because what you're saying is not listenable to.
And it's not true.
Right. It's garbage, straight up. But as Paige DeSorbo said, Bailey, I don't hate you, but I see you. I'm not saying that Bailey had to be mean to Amanda. I am not saying that anyone needs to go out of their way to be mean to their castmate. She has plenty of fucking problems without that. No one needs to go out of their way to be a dick to her, okay? But I think extending that much empathy and kindness, it was gross. And if you disagree with me, I completely understand. But I would like to ask this. I wonder, what do we think Bailey would have done if it had been Levi sitting where Ciara is? And let's say it was at the hand of Lindsay. And let's say Bailey returns to the soundstage and is watching another castmate having a quasi-empathetic, quasi-concerned conversation with Lindsay while Bailey knows her friend Levi is backstage, gutted and traumatized. I think we can all confidently say that Bailey would probably go ballistic. So trying to soothe or check in with Amanda when Amanda isn't interested in soothing or checking in with herself, I am not here to comfort people out of discomfort that they are reasonably experiencing. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm feeling this strongly because I'm a fucking woman of color, but all I'm saying is that I've seen Bailey between Watch What Happens Live and the reunion we saw last night. It's just a little stinky. It's a little stinky, and if you know, you know. I was so pissed when I watched this. I don't like to post on Reddit a lot. I like to read it. I knew what I was about to type out about Bailey was going to probably garner me some downvotes. It did, and then it didn't. And then I got awarded for what I said. Someone gave me a reward, and people started chiming in, and I was like, okay, thank God, you know what I mean? Because, like, I know it's just Reddit, but it doesn't feel good when your takes are, like, ripped apart or whatever. But I think that if it was Levi instead of Ciara, it'd be a real different story. And I don't think Bailey would be cool with anybody checking in on whoever offended Levi, if it was Levi, hypothetically. I don't trust her, dude. I was straight up just grossed out.
I just had a different perception of that. I didn't see her extending a hand to Amanda. She just said, "You okay?" And Amanda said no. And then she said, "Come sit." And then all I heard her say was, "I do not trust him at all." And Amanda said, "Maybe this will be a huge mistake. It's just hard to sit on a stage and explain myself when no one's going to listen." And Bailey just said, "Yeah." And I read that as not like, "Yeah, it's so hard." Like, "Yeah, nobody is going to listen to you." So it's just an interpretation. I'm not a woman of color, so I certainly won't try to speak to it from that angle. But I am a person who's made huge mistakes in my life. And to be on an island, like Kyle said, it doesn't help anyone get better, you know? And I'm not saying it's Bailey's job to rescue her, but I also don't think she did any activism for Amanda. She asked a question, told her perspective. "I do not trust him at all. He's going to make a fool of you." And then contributed to the discussion in a way that shed light on the truth, which is like, why would Dave Portnoy lie? So why is Amanda denying something that makes no sense? So I don't know. I just didn't get her. I didn't get the sense she was taking a side.
Her tone and her overall, like, she was oozing safe space.
I didn't get that.
I totally did. And
Okay.
I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't looking for this at all. I don't have a chip on my shoulder about Bailey. Like, I even gave it to her in that first episode, in the first installment of the reunion. Like, okay, Bailey, I get it. I see what you're seeing about Ben. Okay.
I was surprised. I didn't expect anyone to reach out to Amanda. And to me, it just was another missed opportunity for Amanda to say anything honest, meaningful, or emotional.
But that's the thing. Like, after watching for hours and hours, why even extend her the kind tone?
In my experience, I have had people in my life who have betrayed me in a way that I cannot believe is possible. And so I keep reaching out to be like, no, but now it's just you and me. So obviously you're not going to continue with. And then they do. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? So like in a public arena, you're going to say a thing, but I know you so well. I know you don't believe that. So I'm going to get you privately and be like, come on, man, like we're friends. What the fuck? And then if they stand in that position still, it's like That's, for me, that's part of my slow learning process of who people really are, because I don't want people to be bad. So I give them the opportunity in a private way to be who I thought they were. And then if they continue to not be that, then I have the information I need. But it's shocking and it's confusing. And it's, again, this was shot, a month and a half ago. We've all had time to hate them, settle in, watch all this shit. That statement came out 3 weeks before they're sitting there. Everyone's heads are still spinning. Like, what the fuck? Like, Ciara said it. Like, I had to be peeled off the ground. Like, that's how heavy this news is. Not that it lands that heavy for Bailey, but it's confusing for everybody, including me. And again, I don't know these people, never met them, probably won't. I was shocked watching this all these weeks later. I still can't believe these two people are that heartless, but now I believe it. I'm a believer now. That was my understanding of what that was. It didn't feel like a come here, honey, come take comfort in my embrace. It felt like exploratory questioning of like, really? And then Amanda's subtext was really, ugh, God, she's so awful.
She is terrible. She's terrible. But Dara isn't. And Dara tells Mia that she looks like a movie star, which is true.
She does. Jeez.
Carl, as they're walking back onto the sound stage, is with Lindsay. And he's like, you're unbelievable. You're fun to watch. I am enamored with the both of them. Like you and I texted before we sat down. MVPs, Carl and Lindsay, of especially this episode.
That was sweet. He says, you're unbelievable. It's fun to watch. And she's like, it's just because it's not directed at you. And he was like, maybe a little. They're still so weird. It's that whole thing of like shared trauma does bond people. Like West and Amanda have fucked up so big that Lindsay and Carl have found a soft spot for each other. And of course it has to do with other healing outside of this, but this brings more urgency to it because you do realize who your good friends are and how important is it, the shit that I'm hanging on to. Not important at a time like this, when these two people are utterly untrustworthy and will need to be cut out of my life in order for me to feel safe in the world. So let me entertain a light friendship with someone who Lindsay makes no secret of who she is. Love it or hate it, and I am prone to both sides of that coin. I know who she is. Same with Carl. Love it or hate it, call him a dork, call him an old man. But he's, honest and present and unapologetic, and it's great. So
Totally.
I love that little moment.
So Andy welcomes everybody back and taping resumes. And he starts the discussion like, how did we get here? And he specifically asks West, when did your steady support for Amanda start to shift into romantic feelings? And he fucking lies to you, me, everybody, the fucking boom operator, Andy, and says they started spending a lot of time in February and March of 2026 and going out with a lot of his friends. And he says that seeing her happy and having fun, seeing a side of Amanda he hadn't seen prior, made him take it kind of personal, I guess, meaning he equated her happiness and fun with spending time with him. Yeah, because she was fucking all up and infatuated with you, dude. And he says it was special and a treat to him to see Amanda incredibly happy, and we started spending more time together. And I was like, yeah, in 2025, you did.
Also, him saying, we had a lot of fun, we had so much fun. I'm like, you are Kyle, and get ready because Amanda, not fun. Like, this isn't going to last, buddy. It's already over. Like, he already clearly resents her. And all the questions he has to answer about the seriousness of this relationship, the pain that his body is in order for his mouth to make shapes like committed or trying or willing to, or, he's just, he's such a liar. I don't mind if you're a scumbag, but I mind that you're a liar. Just say, I'm a scumbag. There's no way I'll be able to go from Playboy lying, a girl in every port kind of guy to Amanda, who has now ruined my reputation as fun-loving West. Yeah, I'll definitely, they had to go to Italy because back here, they're going to hate each other because everyone hates them. It's not great.
Turns out the pictures that came from Italy made everyone just hate them more. So
yeah,
dude, abandon hope, ye all. So meanwhile, Amanda is just sitting next to him, eyes down, stone cold, checked the fuck out.
I also do feel like it's landing on her that she's ruined her life. You know, she's ruined these friendships. It's almost like, you know, there's a condition called resignation syndrome where people just give up everything, including hope and depression, and you just sort of flatline until you die. Because now at this point, West has admitted to Meija, and, you know, he has more to admit to that unfolds down the line. But like, she's just slowly sinking in the quicksand of shit that she willingly stepped into. She has a lot of work to do to dig her way out. I don't envy her.
My God. So Andy then asks Amanda, was there a specific moment when things clicked with you? And I'm all, yeah, LA, April 2025, when they had hotel rooms next to each other. Or maybe February 2025, or whenever the fucking Macarena video came out, like net spring 2025.
Whatever it was, it certainly was not the minute he asked the question, is there something going? It wasn't friends. Then three different words come out of his mouth. And she's like, then all the emotions came flooding and took me over. No, they didn't. That's not how that works. Also, it's all documented on Instagram, you asshole. Like, please give me a goddamn break. Stop treating me like a fool. You documented your affair. Please don't pull, like, one day after he'd had brunch with my husband, he said, hey, is there something here or am I crazy? And suddenly a cartoon tidal wave of feelings took me over and I was powerless. Oh, God, get over yourselves. What a dumb story. Get a writer before, if you're going to come up with a shitty ass story to stick to, please sit down with a writer for a couple days to get something believable, good, human. This is such crap. It's like offensive.
It is so fucking offensive. She said corset and then she does this bullshit.
That's right.
And yeah, I had the same note. Like, I'm like, it wasn't a slow burn. I'm like, it was a slow burn that started in the winter of 2020 fucking 5, dude. Go back and look at both your social media. It's true.
Also, watch this season of Summer House,
Thank you.
ass. It's everywhere. Like, get over it. Ugh.
So yeah, she repeats it came flooding in all at once. Before that conversation, it wasn't something that was top of mind.
Bullshit.
Utter fucking bullshit. So Andy asks, to be clear, were you having an affair summer of 2025? And they both answer at the same time, absolutely not.
I know. Like some fucking canned, synced up unison recorded track of people saying absolutely not. It was just so bizarre. And then West does this, like, the thing that I hate. And I'm so glad everyone jumped right on his ass when he's like, you know, I know we've lied so people won't believe us up here. And I apologize for that. And Jesse goes, no. Not only did you lie, you made us feel crazy for thinking that this was going on. And guess what? This was going on. And you can't, this to me is also, if anyone's ever curious about like why there's a difference between an apology and an amends, Wes' refrain through this whole fucking reunion is, I apologize for that. I apologize for that. I apologize for that. I acknowledge that. I apologize for that. I hear that. You're not wrong. I apologize for that. It's nothing. It's substanceless. He says nothing about like, here's what I'm going to change. Here's how I intend to earn your trust back. Here's why I'm not going to earn your trust back, because she's so worth it to me. I'm willing to sacrifice all of you guys for this level of love. Nothing. He's just trying to like skate through this 3 hours and get it over with and move on with his life, which is exactly what he's done, because now he's on his podcast, all animated, being like, what? Like, I'm the only guy who's, you know, kissed the ex of someone else? Like, get over it, everybody. It's like, wow, where was this guy on the reunion stage? Scumbag.
And I loved that after Jesse said that, Kyle, Mia, Lindsay, Ciara, they're just jumping in with reinforcements. Lied to us, gaslit us, tricked us, made us feel like they're all
trolled
just,
us
like,
on the internet.
Trolled us on the internet.
And Ciara closes out by saying, you're so fucking calculated. And it's true. This performance is calculated, and Amanda's going off book every now and then. And West is getting held to the fire a little more than he expected, I think. So, you know, there are a few moments when Amanda turns to him with like her big wide saucer eyes, like, what? Like, it's a mess. It's a mess. And again, the truth is so much easier. There's so much more ease with people telling the truth, even when they've done something awful. there's a peace that overcomes a person when they're telling the truth. There's freedom, even if people hate you because you admit what you did. I don't know what this is that stirred up in me, but it is so unpleasant. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. It's a very long hour with them.
Totally. I'm having a ridiculously strong, like if someone was to say, Ramona, oh my God, you're borderline like parasocial, I would say, I totally get why you're saying that. I've been asking myself, like, what the fuck? But I think it is because watching two entitled assholes disrespect everyone watching and their fellow castmates, it's emotional fucking violence.
So then Meija chimes in to sort of lay out the case for her believing that they were hooking up over the summer. She gives a very well presented set of evidence, you know, the underboob hug and the grabbing her head and
the evidence was so good, dude.
kissing her head and saying, I love you in the midst of that fight with Kyle. And, you know, of course, Amanda and Wes just like flatly deny it. And by flatly, I mean, you know, without emotion. And then Wes does the weirdest fucking move saying like, well, it would have been flagged if something weird was going on. And again, thank God for the rest of the cast being thoughtful enough to have pulled these thoughts together. Because Meija jumps right on that to explain, we saw Amanda as a victim, and then they cut to Amanda who rolls her eyes at like a whole victim. And Meija says, you know, we all saw Amanda as a victim, and they basically could never conceive that either Wes or Amanda would engage in such a relationship. So it seems like Amanda and Wes capitalized on these characterizations of them and had this clandestine bullshit unfolding right in plain sight. And they knew they were doing it, and they knew everyone was focused on Kyle's the bad guy. And they took advantage of that too. They took advantage of Kyle, Ciara, trust, friendships, perceptions. Like they took advantage of everything. It was shocking.
Totally shocking. So Wes denies having a crush on Amanda at that time when the fight went down, saying that they got closer after all the moments that they shared intimately. And I'm all, yeah, dude, like the bathroom when she's in there crying and then all of a sudden we hear kissing noises and you're having a sock in your pocket so you can muffle your mics, dude. And Andy asks Amanda, did you have a crush on Wes? And she says, no, I was dealing with and caught up in the fallout of my own marriage. It's so easy to watch this through a different lens and see what you guys want to see. But you all lived in that house and that's not what was happening. And she insists, what's so fucking frustrating? And she insists that's what's so fucking frustrating. I'm not a fucking cheater. I'm not going to step out on Kyle. I'm not going to do things that are inappropriate.
She stepped out on Ciara.
Yeah.
That's the problem, you dumbass. We're not mad at you for fucking around on Kyle. We're mad at you for fucking with Ciara.
Yeah.
You did cheat.
Yeah.
You made a promise to your friend. You implied that you were something to her and she was something to you. And you fucking bailed in the grossest way. So I guess congratulations for not cheating on Kyle, I guess. But nobody's concerned about that. So come visit us in reality where we're worried about Ciara. Also, I just also want to say when Amanda said it's so easy to watch this through a different lens and see what you want to see, I was like, hey, in this episode, we were watching it through poor Amanda. We were still there. When that episode aired, we still were, they hadn't released their statement. So,
the making out in the bathroom? You mean the bathroom one? Yeah.
Remember that was the one where we were like,
said,
West is the best. He's such a champion.
Oh my God,
Good
I'm
for
so
him for telling
embarrassed.
Kyle to say I'm sorry. I am too, but like us and everyone else.
Everyone else, his truest castmates thought that he was not capable of that too. So, okay.
Yeah, it brought Jesse to tears.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then everyone basically insists like there was at least an emotional affair underway over the summer. And West goes like, you know, he decides to concede a point here. He's like, we definitely became closer over the summer. And then Amanda goes like, but not in a romantic way. I was like, did you just whine? Did you just whine? Like, she is so off every mark that was ever, like, I just can't believe any of it.
I can't either.
And this seemed like a calculated moment for Wes. Like, well, enough time has gone by when I'm defensive. So this feels like a good time to pepper in a little contrition. We did get closer this summer. Fuck you.
He was working so hard. Like you always say, it takes so much energy and effort to lie.
Well, and I think that's why it looked so strained on him and Amanda, because they both knew that everyone in that room, including Andy and probably all the production people, knew they were lying. So it's even harder to lie when everyone is looking at you like, what the fuck? Like, there was a universal expression on everyone's face, and it like looked beautiful on Ciara still, but it was that like shit smelling face of like, are you fucking serious? Jesse had it most of the time. Ciara had it most of the time, you know, except when both of them were brought to tears by these dickwads. But everyone was just like, are you fucking seriously trying to sell me a shit sandwich? Stop it. I know what shit is. Stop telling me it's caviar. It's poo. I know that. You know I know that. Fuck you guys.
Every time the camera panned to Dara, her mouth was open. Like her face was facing them and her mouth was like, open.
Because it's insane. It's actually crazy, this tack they took.
So thank God Lindsay brings up Amanda yelling at West after the Vegas VIP party. And she's like, it seemed like you yelled at West for making out with Emmy sitting next to Ciara on behalf of yourself, not on behalf of Ciara like you marketed it to be. And then they roll the tape, thankfully. And Amanda she's going to stick with this fucking refrain. No one felt that way in the moment.
Nobody had all the information.
Now we do.
Yeah, so now we feel this way because now we're informed.
Exactly. It's funny, she's not activated by anything else. She's just looking down, checked out, whatever. But then it's like, it's so interesting where she chooses to become, what activates her, you know? So Kyle says, I have one timeline question, and then I'll take them at their word. Famous last words. I have questions, and I'm not Kyle.
But I appreciated it because at a certain point, there's no point in drilling down on a liar. If you're going to say to them, this is the last time I'll ask you, you have one more opportunity to tell the truth. And if they choose to lie, then it's over. Then every time I ask you anything, you've chosen to lie. So like, okay. So I didn't mind this tack of like, I'll ask this one more time because you've been lying up to now, and I'm going to ask you to not lie anymore. And that's up to you whether you do or not. But
I just felt bad that he felt like he had to say that, or he felt like he had to have a limit on how many questions to ask, because of all of us, he and Ciara are owed answer after answer. They're owed minutia. They're owed millitudes. Multitudes? Millipedes?
But Andy, about 100 times over, was like, we have a hard out at 7:30. It's got to be a quick pee break. We have a hard out at 7:30. Hard out at 7:30 was like,
so funny.
I don't know.
So Kyle's question is, and again, I can't believe I'm about to say these names on our fucking podcast. Like, I can't believe it. So he references the Barstool Sports guy and someone who goes by the name Brianna Chicken Fry, my God, telling them that they were a thing at the Super Bowl.
But I think what was new to me in this, so I don't follow Brianna Chicken Fry. I don't really know who she is, but it does sound like she is a friend of West, or she's close in West Circle. Okay.
Yes.
So that gives some real credibility to her. And apparently it was said like very casually in passing, not like, here's a bit of gossip. She was like, no, yeah, they've been together since, whatever, January.
Yeah. So there was a video that came out. It is Brianna Chicken Fry, Amanda, West, and West's friend that has the mustache and brunette hair. He was at the Ben Australian happy hour thing. It's the four of them walking. Amanda says something about a hard launch, but nobody knows it yet. And then the camera pans to West, and then it goes dead. She was there, and Amanda looks very happy. Amanda, let me put it to you this way. Amanda doesn't look anything like she needs concern from Bailey in that video. She's out there going out. I think she's wearing leather pants and a faux fur jacket. Have fun, Amanda.
Kyle seems to dig in on asking if anything physical had gone down between West and Amanda in the 2 weeks between West and Amanda rushing out their separation statement, as we learned last reunion, and the Super Bowl. So there was 2 weeks in between when Amanda was putting pressure on Kyle to get that statement posted and the Super Bowl, where it appears to be confirmed that they had been together for some time.
And Kyle says, someone in the Barstool circle DM'd him and said, don't let Amanda and Wes fool you. They hooked up in 2025. And both Wes and Amanda deny it.
They just are so unbelievable. It's like, why even deny anything? And also, like, I don't trust just a quick blanket denial. I would ask Kyle, like, what exactly did they say? Where, when, and what time does this come from? Because if it really didn't happen, I can tell you where I was and how it's impossible that that could have been so. But instead, these two fucks had their locations off. They were posting on Instagram. They were very adept liars until they got caught. And now they're just coming off like unscrupulous idiots.
I have a theory, and this is probably not even that deep, but you know how Amanda has been wearing her hair differently and wearing her makeup differently all this whole season. And in the social media post that she posted that said, broke my wedding vows, and she's not wearing mascara. And that's the wedding vow she broke because Kyle's like, I guess she said in her wedding vows, I'll always wear mascara because that's what Kyle likes.
Yikes.
I have a feeling that somewhere along the way, West, you know, the kind of guys that are always like, oh, you look so good without makeup. Oh, you look great without makeup. And great. God bless. Like, I love that. But I have a feeling somewhere along the way, West probably said to Amanda, oh, I like it when you wear your hair like that. Or you look good with no makeup. And she just Gwen Stefani'd with it. Made it her whole fucking persona.
Well, and I think that's who she is. And I think that's why there's concern for her, which is like, who are you? Ciara was imploring her to take some time to figure out who are you instead of being Kyle's wife and West's mistress. She went directly from Kyle's wife to Manders. And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure he was like, Manders, why would you make that a wedding vow? You look great without mascara. Let it rip. And that gave her confidence because she doesn't know who she is. I was a chorus girl, you know, like for so many years. And they drill into you lips and lashes, always lips and lashes. So I like never leave the house without mascara and lip gloss. It's literally the first thing in the morning. I brush my teeth, put on chapstick basically, and mascara before I walk the dog. It's just part of my routine. It's who I am. And I know it's ridiculous. I've talked about it in therapy where my therapist is like, why don't you just try not wearing mascara? And I was like, because I don't want to. Like, it doesn't matter that much one way or the other. And lips and lashes are just like part of my personality at this point. Anyways, Amanda doesn't know who she is. Wes told her who she was and she posted about it. And now it's more evidence. What was breadcrumbs is now evidence.
It just seems like the only thing that could have possibly happened. She's so male-centered, dude. She's so male-centered. And
Clearly.
Everyone, again, this is like a whole other fucking can of worms. And if a lot of people in the Summer House Bravo subreddit are like, screaming into the rafters, go watch every fucking season and watch the way she got pissed at Luke because Luke wasn't giving her attention. She fucking sat on Austin's lap. She held hands with Craig. Like, she's always been this girl. And I'm like, shit. But again, I was blinded by Kyle.
She chose a good partner to hide behind. She chose, you know, the loudest DJ in the room.
She did.
Because he takes all the focus. So like you wouldn't notice she was sitting on Austin's lap or holding Craig's hand unless you're looking for it. But yeah, she's not great.
Amanda swears on her own life and the dog's life, which I found very disgusting.
Especially when you're like in a position of right now, there's no trust. So it's hard to believe you. So when you start bringing like your own life and dogs' lives into it just feels like, I don't believe you. And so it makes me feel like everyone's lives are at risk. Wait till you earn my trust back before you start swearing on innocent souls. It was
totally
out of line.
So Lindsay makes a little aside to Kyle, like, I think an emotional affair is so much worse than a physical affair. And thankfully, because Kyle wasn't pressing the emotional affair of it. He was like pressing them about when did they physically hook up. And so when he said to Lindsay, I agree, but there's no way we're going to prove that, I was like, okay, phew, he's with us. He knows that. He's just like, how do I prove that? And I'm like, you pull the fucking text transcripts, you know what I mean?
And again, she posted the text
So many.
Like, and I love that she's like, well,
Yeah.
lots of people use disappearing text, and everyone's like, it's Wes' signature move, which is also so shady.
Makes so much sense.
Why
too.
are you doing invisible? Like, you're so weird. Ugh.
He's so gross. So Meija asks Amanda and Wes, did you honestly just come forward because there was so much speculation? Or were you going to continue to lie to us? Please be truthful. And Amanda says, in that moment, we came forward because of the speculation, because there were a lot of things I was still trying to understand and figuring out, including the Meija situation. And thankfully, Meija pushes for clarification, and I knew she was going to do this. She says, so it had nothing to do with hurting your friendship with Ciara. It had to do with figuring out if Wes was actually exclusive with Meija. And Amanda doesn't fucking answer.
That was crazy. That
was
Amanda's sitting
criminal.
across from Ciara, and it didn't even occur to her to be like, I am so floored by the level of indecency. It just is amazing. That was another one of those moments where I had to like rewind and be like, wait a minute, she must have at least like looked at Ciara or given her like it didn't occur to her. So now I'm starting to believe Amanda that she's that fucking checked out and self-centered that it didn't occur to her how fucking deep the knife would cut when she made this choice.
In the snottiest, shittiest voice, she just says, again, I know I fucked it up. I know I didn't handle it right. In that moment, that's all I could understand how to do. And I am, again, sorry for lying to you, Ciara.
But it was so like, you just delivered it perfectly.
Yeah.
It was like me, I don't know. There's no emotion underneath it. The fact that I feel fired up and emotional and Amanda doesn't is chilling. What is happening? How? 10 years on this show, and this is all it means to you? Like, it's just so you just want to go spit olives in Wef's mouth overseas? I mean, Anyways, what a shitbag.
A total shitbag, dude.
Wow.
So Andy is like, Wes, I assume you were seeing other women at that time? And Wes confirms, yes, I was.
And he tries to do it in this like, yeah, I'll tell the truth. Yeah, I was seeing other women.
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
You never tell the truth.
Totally.
You're telling the truth because these other women are about to put you on blast if you don't. So great job.
And Andy asks, did Meija know you were seeing other women at the time? And Ciara shakes her head vehemently. And Wes says, obviously, I wasn't the clearest. I told her it wasn't an exclusive relationship and then he takes a glacially long pause. November or December, like way. A, I don't fucking believe that he ever said that. And B,
he didn't. The pause told us everything we needed to know. Everything you're about to say and everything that led up to what you're about to say is false. So great job, you dumbass. Liar.
So Ciara cuts him off and says, you sent Meija flowers on Valentine's Day, and then just says, when does the lying stop? When does the lying stop? And Wes says, I haven't been clear with a zillion women I've dated prior to this.
Oh my
and
God.
Dara, this is one of the times when Dara's mouth is just like her jaw is on the ground.
Well, that was one of the times when Amanda's head like did a slow turn because it sounded like the Valentine's Day flowers bit of information was news to her. Like West, and no one should be surprised, but it is amazing the lengths the man has gone to live a quintuple. Who knows how many lives this guy is leading at one time? He's scary, legitimately scary. And the willingness to keep trying to come up with a lie that'll cover it. I wasn't clear, go fuck yourself, which means you didn't tell her you were sleeping with other people, which you know would upset her, which is the same fucking thing you did to Ciara when you guys broke up. And then searching for November, December to make it line up with the timeline that they're saying with Amanda to give it enough space. Like he's just doing pathological math. Hate it.
Pathological math is so fucking perfect to describe the mental gymnastics this man is doing. So simultaneously, Kyle and Ciara are like, so this is your style? This is your MO? To date multiple women and just lie about it? And Kyle spells it out. you understand how that could be concerning because I still care for Amanda, right? And West mimics like he understands. Who fucking knows at this point? And Kyle says, wait. Sorry, one last question. I'm all, oh my God, man, please just give yourself the questions because I want you to ask them on behalf of me. And Kyle says, were you exclusive with Meija? And Wes says, I mean, no. She thought that we were. Roll the social media posts.
And also how gross that he puts it on her.
Disgusting.
Just say, no, I wasn't exclusive and I did cheat on her. Like, she didn't come up with we're exclusive out of nowhere.
No, dude.
I was so mental about that, about the define the relationship conversation, the exclusivity conversation, the monogamy conversation. Like, that is top of mind in early dating phases of like, when do we address that? Do I want to address that? Does he want to address it? Will I lose him if I say that I want that? Blah, blah, blah. Give me a fucking break. Like, and Meija seems like a really decent whole person because she's hurting in ways that make a lot of sense to a human experience, and she's pissed in ways that make a lot of sense to the human experience. And all the pictures they showed of her with West in November and December, snuggling, smiling, it looked like one of them was taken in bed. Like, fuck you, West, honestly.
Fuck you, West. Fuck you, West.
And you kept her off in Montana or whatever so you could just visit her when it so pleased the king, you know? Ick.
They met in Montana where they both went to college, and then she moved to Philadelphia because that's where she could afford. She couldn't afford to move to New York, but the closest she could get to West was moving to Philadelphia. So that's why she relocated to fucking Philadelphia, was for West.
Wowie.
Yeah. He's violent. He is a manipulative terrorist. So Ciara says she thought you were exclusive because you were saying these things to her. And Lindsay just repeats, you're a pathy, dude. You're a fucking pathy. And Kyle tells West, you're lying because earlier in the day, you said you weren't exclusive with Meija. So West, we know the truth. And they just got done with another FaceTime call with her, you know, on lunch break that West doesn't know about. He thinks he's so fucking slick, dude. And so Ciara and Kyle tell Andy they talked to Meija to confirm details and timelines.
What bugs me, as always, it's not even that he thinks he's so slick. It's that he thinks this collection of people are dumb enough to pull this on.
That is a very
that.
important distinction. Thank you, Margie. Yes. And so Andy confirms with West that he was dating Meija. West says secretively, gross. Yes, gross. Even though we already know how he sold it to Meija, poor thing, for like, you know, well, we have to for the show or I'll get fired. Like, what a disgusting, diabolical piece of shit. But like to hear him say it out loud, like, can you imagine being referred to as like secretively we were dating?
She thought we were exclusive, that idiot. But I do want to say about the for the show thing, like everyone brought that up and was like so judgmental of West. And I have such a problem with Ben. Where was everybody when Ben clearly pulled that shit with Sabrina? It's clear they were dating the whole time. And yet he let that whole Ben single, let's have a party for him in the city thing go down. Everybody pulls the for the show card when it's convenient for them.
I can see that.
I think all those boys have pulled it, including Jesse probably at some point. Like, however, Jesse, I do think is growing up in a really painful, sad way, but like it looks like it's actually really happening.
Like, sorry about it and you're welcome. As one of my therapists says, sorry about it and you're welcome. Because this is like their hearts are opening for Jesse.
And his heart is exposed. He
totally
got shredded. We learn about how deep this wound goes with him this summer alone, and this season alone. And yeah, he's being forced into a growth spurt here.
Ciara does tell West, like, listen, I know you were saying I love you to Meija, and you can't even fucking look at me right now because you know you're lying. And Andy asks Amanda, does it give you pause? Because he was saying I love you to Meija. And Meija thought they were monogamous. While Andy is saying that, Ciara also adds, West flew Meija to Bozeman, Montana for a game that they were all going to go to with his dad. West loves to introduce people to his family. And people are now saying it's part of his manipulation tactic. It makes you think you're special or safe because that's a grand gesture.
I also think it's a performance for his family.
Oh my God,
Look,
you're so
I'm
right.
dating this one girl. Aren't you proud of me? Cut to, a dick in every hole every hour of the day in New York City,
Right.
but they don't have to know about that. They see this lovely girl, Meija, who West really connects with, has known her since college. Isn't that sweet? So he gives his family a great story to tell. He tells this long distance girlfriend something that makes just enough sense to be believable. And then he goes and does who and whatever he wants. And if Amanda thinks she's exempt from that equation, she's nuts.
She's fucking nuts, dude. So Amanda says, I had some of this information, not all of it. Yeah, I bet. I bet. I bet. And Andy asks Amanda, are you worried that West was sending Meija flowers for Valentine's Day? And Amanda says, well, at that time, there wasn't really anything going on between us. And 2/3 of that couch on the opposite side erupts in what about January? And that's when Bailey manages to tell Mia, yeah, I mean, the Dave Portnoy of it all is very incriminating. So Andy asks the cast, has anyone else met Meija? And Jesse says, yeah, Ben and I have. And then we see a photo dated April 14th, 2026, which confused me because that's 2 weeks after the statement came out that Amanda and Wes were dating. So I don't know what.
Must have been 2025, right?
I don't know. I mean, the photo said April 14, 2026.
Oh.
Maybe they got the date wrong, or maybe West lied to Meija about the statement or what it meant. Like he had to say that or something. I don't know. But I was confused.
And Jesse was in that picture too?
Yeah. Jesse.
Yeah, it must have been
Ben,
dated wrong.
West, and I think West's mom.
I don't think Jesse could have stomached that after that
Oh, yeah,
statement
that's
was
true.
released. So I think that must have been dated wrong. It was
God, I'll
probably
go
just a
back
little-
and watch.
Or,
Maybe I
but I mean,
won't.
production may have just put the wrong. They may have written 2026 meaning 2025. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully, because Jesus. So Wes keeps saying the word girlfriend isn't true and says, yeah, because you gave her loopholes.
Yeah, Ciara's like, you love a loophole, and like, is this when everyone defines what a girlfriend is
Yes.
for West?
Wes clarifies to Andy Cohen that Meija thought they were in an exclusive relationship, and Cast pipes in, that's what a girlfriend is. That's exactly what an exclusive relationship is, your girlfriend and boyfriend.
And he knows that. Like his semantic tap dancing is so reminiscent of I did not have sexual relations with that girl. Okay, but you put your dick in her mouth. So like it kind of counts. You know what I mean?
You know what? They must have gotten the date wrong, Margie, because college football is not played in April.
I mean, it could have been a spring game, but I just that statement rocked the cast so badly that I think if Jesse's in that picture, there's just no world where that far.
That's so
That's
true.
3 weeks after that statement was released. Like I don't think Jesse could have tolerated. Yeah, I think it was just a misprint or whatever.
Because Jesse says they met in October when they went to Montana. And Jesse said, my impression was that Meija understood that she and Wes weren't exclusive. But now it feels like Wes probably told her this is all for the show. And Kyle interrupts and says, that's quite literally what he did because they just got done again talking to Meija on FaceTime over the lunch break. So.
House of Cards, West. It's all coming crumbling down.
Yeah, Andy asked Jesse what he wants to say to West. And Jesse, well, tearing up and crying, says, I'm not the person who needs sympathy, but I feel for Ciara and Kyle. It hurts deeply, and I just feel lied to. I'm really upset that the sanctity of this friend group has been broken. Today has proved that I would never have expected this out of you. I'm sad about it. Oh.
And then West says, I apologize, Jesse, looking forward. He does not look at Jesse, who is weeping. And I thought that was really, I think that is the point that was driven home in this segment of the reunion is like, this segment of the reunion is proving what West is actually capable of. And everyone, and Amanda as well, everyone up there is coming to terms with it in real time. And for Jesse, it's deeply sad. For Carl, when he sort of tries to shake some sense into Amanda, he's just flabbergasted. Like everyone is trying to like make this make sense. And it doesn't make sense, but it is true. That is what this reunion proved. These two people are nefarious at best.
perfect word to describe them. Perfect word. Perfect word. Kyle is stunned. Andy looks downtrodden. Look at all this damage. Look at all this wreckage. So Andy asks Amanda and West, have you been monogamous? And he focuses on West, who says, we
Hold on.
Oh, go
He
ahead,
says,
go ahead.
have you been monogamous since expressing feelings for each other? Then there is a pause the length of 45 freight trains while Wes just looks like the wind got knocked out of him. And Andy literally has to say to him, West, have you been monogamous? And he's like, oh, well, not when feelings were first expressed. And Kyle literally goes, what? Like, it's just gross. It is so gross. So no. So he lured Amanda away, started fucking around with her, harming Ciara, both of them knowing what harm this would cause to Ciara. And he's still fucking other women. And he claims that monogamy kicked in the day the statement was released. And I think that's why he looks miserable, because I think he's so used to his appetite being satisfied by every flavor he can get his hands on. And I think he's so disappointed that it's come to this. I gotta give it my best with Amanda. Ugh.
Good. I don't think that she was lured away. I think that it was 50-50.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't mean to imply that,
No.
but I do agree with Lindsay when I do think West he's been at this for a long time. Like he is a master in gaming, in manipulation. Like he's really good at it. We all bought in. Amanda's kind of a dope, but she knows the difference between right and wrong, and she made her choices. But West is playing like a grosser game,
I hear that.
And I believe he made her feel really special and seen in a way that your husband has never seen. I'm sure he laid it on. And like Kyle said, you will never find a woman in a more vulnerable. And I have plenty of friends who've gone through divorces, and Kyle is right. No one is in a more vulnerable moment in time when they're getting divorced. Even if it's an amicable divorce, it's a trauma. So West is a predator in that way. I went through a period of dating, and I dated a lot of divorced guys, but like to the best of my ability, waited until they'd been out of their marriage for a time, or at least legally separated for quite some time, because it's not a sane headspace when you're the person you loved and committed to when the two of you are separating. And West is not an idiot. He knows that. And he got Amanda high on love and coke or whatever else they were doing. And he took her for a ride similar to how he took Ciara for a ride. He has no intention of like committing to her. He just found someone who he figured out how to get her, and he got her. Gross. It's like putting a fucking deer head on your wall after a hunt. It doesn't mean anything to you. You just took it. It's fucking gross. And she was complicit, of course, but
Like, it just occurred to me, if I was dating someone and they sent me disappearing messages, what reason would they give me that I would be like, oh, okay, cool?
you would willfully ignor your gut
Right?
instinct. That's like, this is shady. And but people like Wes, this is what I mean by he's predatory, he knows when he's gotten the chemical reaction going, and he knows that, oh great, this is the time when I can send these disappearing messages, and they'll do the work to make it okay for us to keep doing this. I'm capable of justifying really weird shit when I think someone's cute and I'm chemically drawn to them, And I think some people do weird shit with that moment in time, and I think West is one of them. He gets off on people liking him and then wanting things from him, and then he promises, and then according to him, it fizzles out. And according to all the women left in his wake, it's like, yeah, he's incapable of being faithful. And the only problem with that is that he claims he is. I have no problem. If you're someone who can't or won't or doesn't want to be faithful, get it in wherever, but don't tell someone you're the only one. Fuck you. That's weird. Ugh. Anyway.
I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad at myself for ever believing it and buying it. I really am. I'm so mad at myself. I don't know. Is that going to be productive for me to be mad at myself about this?
No, because it's like when you know better, you do better. Like,
Yeah.
as my former therapist said to me when that broken engagement happened, that was the result of a secret affair. She's like, only one person had all the information.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't make a different decision. Of course you fought for the relationship because you didn't know it was already over. And then once I knew it was over, it was over. And then I grieved it properly and moved the fuck on. It's such a creep. Wes just absolutely gives me the creeps now. Amanda makes me mad
He's
and Wes
scary.
gives me the creeps.
Absolutely.
Like Ted Bundy.
Totally.
Get away from that guy.
So they both say that they have been monogamous since they released their statement on March 31st of 2026. And this makes Kyle start to cry. And a viewer tells Wes, listen, dude, there's a lot of pressure on you now. People are joking that you need to get married or get Amanda pregnant ASAP to make it all work. And Andy says, do you feel pressure to make it work? And Wes clears his throat and actually says, that shouldn't be why it works, but in a moment like this, that's what you feel.
Oh my God, this guy.
Josh and I both looked at each other when he said that and went, what the fuck?
Everything out of Wes' mouth, like, it was better when he was silent, it turns out, because everything he's choosing to say is unhinged.
It's like you want it to work because there's love there and you care about each other or you're attracted to each other or, like it's when it's good, like whatever. Not external pressure. Like that's so ego and surface and it explains so much. And the fact that he said it out loud is, I don't understand and I don't want to understand. Thankfully, I'm shocked. Thankfully, I'm fucking shocked.
And
Thankfully,
he thought
I'm
that
shocked.
was the diplomatic answer.
Honestly.
West thought he fucking nailed it. And everyone was like, ew, what? He
Wow.
is a mess.
So Kyle sits there stunned and then says something so fucking deep that I was like, oh, holy shit, Kyle Cook, standing ovation for you. He said, I can't believe we're in this position. I consider you to be one of the best things that ever happened to this show because I considered you one of my best friends. The most eye-opening part of this has been learning about what's behind closed doors in your life. I still have love for and care for Amanda, and I am concerned with her. When we broke up, it was not a good marriage. You had a front row seat. You know she was in the most vulnerable spot a girl could be in. She just got out of a 10-year relationship. In deciding to make that move and pursue these feelings, you've essentially isolated her. She's alone on an island. Now, when Josh heard that come out of Kyle's mouth, he was like, whoa, this dude's been to therapy. And I was like, yeah, that insight that Kyle just spoke, that she's isolated and on an island, it was stunning to me. It made me pay attention. So what is your plan for Amanda? He says. And is all this really going to be worth it? I'd like to think you care about her. I'd like to think you feel like you owe her something. Where do we go from here? I mean, Kyle zoomed out, dude. Kyle big fucking pictured. Kyle saw into the future. And I was impressed.
Yeah. West says that part of their conversations, he and Amanda talked about how much this could possibly fuck up their friendships. And he wishes he could have spoken to Kyle before this shit got fucking carried away. This shit got fucking carried away. Like, I'm sorry. Did a hurricane blow through? Because I do believe you have free will and full awareness of what you were doing. It's not that it got carried away. You guys made deliberate choices. And in that statement you released, it sounds like it's been, plaguing you forever. Like, this guy is just any way to shirk responsibility. This guy is going to go there. And this is just disgusting. Kyle says, that happened when you were in my business. You were up in my marriage. I was texting you in early February, not knowing you're in Miami on a dinner date with Amanda. I was texting you about our sex life or lack thereof. Do you understand how big of a fool I feel? And Wes just goes, totally. As if that's enough. He didn't say like it was so inappropriate what I was doing. And I just wish he'd said something like I was trying to cover up for the fact that I was trying to build a relationship with totally it does not, it's insufficient on every level. And Like, and I believe that Kyle thought they were friends enough for him to confide about an unsatisfactory sex life. And meanwhile, West, it's so chilling that West is sitting across the table from his wife as Kyle is asking to be heard or supported about this sensitive subject matter with his wife. Like, it's just so twisted. And then West says at that time there wasn't anything romantic going on with him and Amanda. And then Jesse goes, then why wasn't I invited to dinner? And West was like, oh, well, we had plans the next night. I guess I should have invited you. I apologize for that. He does that shit again. I apologize for that. And Jesse's like, well, it doesn't look good. And he's like, I know nothing looks good. Like West like briefly snaps a little bit. Nothing he's doing on this reunion stage is sincere. He is still omitting. He is lying by omission at every chance he can. Kyle texted about his sex life. West is on a date with Amanda, putting off Jesse so he can be alone with Amanda. Like, it's just so, like Ciara said, it's so calculated.
May I never know. May I never know. West admits the concern about me being the worst person to risk all of this over makes total sense. Oh, my God.
That doesn't make you sympathetic, dude. It just makes us right.
Kyle's like, I care about Amanda's family, and we just exposed you for having a full-blown fucking girlfriend, dude. And Lindsay asks West, is there anything you can say or do to make us feel better about all of this? And Ciara says, you haven't even said anything along the lines of like, well, all of this blown up, Amanda's worth it.
Ciara literally tees him up and says, like, you haven't even said she's worth it. And West doesn't say she's worth it. He just sits there like a fucking sweaty, mullety bump on a log.
So West does say that a lot of our conversations have revolved around this needing to be something that's serious and has legs. Oh, my God.
That he can split open and stick it in. You don't care. Kyle's right to say, like, that sounds like this is just part of your PR damage control bullshit. And West says, well, the convos happened before the statement came out. And it's just like, that is also part of your PR damage control bullshit. Like,
the fact that he had that information at the ready, like there.
And he thinks he's so smart being like, no, but we definitely talked about this before. Fuck you, dude. No, you didn't. You were just all up in each other's business and hoping you didn't get caught. And then you got caught. And now you hate this. Ugh, I hate him.
Wes says it got so out of control. He regrets not talking to Kyle before it happened. And Andy pushes back immediately like, actually, this was in your control, Wes, to talk to Kyle beforehand.
All of this was in your control. To sleep with Amanda, to entertain Amanda. You didn't have to do any of it. You are in control of your life and your body. Like, you're insane to keep saying that, like, well, I guess an act of God came through and made us land nude on top of one another. It's like, you're insane.
And Andy says, you must have known what was going to happen. And Ciara and Kyle both comment about hooking up and posting about it on social media. Ciara says you guys basically bragged about it for months on end via your posts.
And that was the most disrespectful part.
So disrespectful to everyone. And thankfully, Ciara brings up that infuriating post that I can't get out of my head of these fingers saying how little I care. And Amanda just goes, oh, it's just so easy to read into everything. It's like, no, dude.
She's like, that had nothing to do with it. And Kyle's like, it came after a 20-slide carousel of you and West. And then comes the slide that says how little I care. Amanda, like, how dumb do you think everybody is?
Well, she thinks we're super dumb because Ciara pushes back, rightly so, like even down to the song choices of your posts, dude. Amanda says, oh my God, they were just songs that were suggested to me as soon as I opened up the app. I'm all sure, Jan.gif, like they weren't.
It's just like annoying and a waste of time. This was about the time where I was like, all right, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to keep doing this and it's actually boring and insulting and infuriating. She's so lame.
So lame, dude. So lame. Oh, God. Nastasia from Sleeping Hollow, asks Amanda if her friendship with Ciara was true or just for the show. And Amanda says there was definitely real friendship there, not just a show friendship. That would be insane and insensitive.
Oh, well, I feel like those adjectives could apply to something else that's on the table for discussion today. I think you're insane and insensitive.
Poor Ciara's
psycho.
tearing up, dude, because she's a fucking human. Because she's a human. She's a human expressing human emotions. And Andy asks Amanda, how does it feel to watch the scenes of Ciara being a supportive friend to you? And Amanda motherfucking says she hasn't been watching the show.
To protect her peace, because she knows, she can tell, like, she's been torn apart by the internet, and she can tell, like, what scenes they're going to read into and what they're going to say about her. And so for her own, mental well-being, she's had to step aside from watching the show. Fuck you, dude. You know what you don't do? Don't go on the internet. Watch the show and don't go on the internet. That's the actual answer. That's what would be respectful to these other people whose lives you've absolutely turned upside down and blown explosive diarrhea all over. You dickbag.
Or don't go on the show, Amanda, or stop being on the show, but you don't want to. This is what people are saying online, that she wanted to be on Bravo herself, and that's why she wanted to be with Kyle. That's why who fucking knows, dude? Anyway.
I mean, again, like, that is a long con.
It's a long, right.
To get married and go through everything they did go through.
The long con in Amanda sees the long con in West, maybe. Maybe these two con artists were destined from fucking 2016. So Carl, hearing Amanda say she's not watching the show, shakes his head in disbelief. And Jesse says, well, you know what? It's really tough to watch. And Kyle asks her, do you plan to? Because not watching feels like a cop-out.
Hell yeah, Kyle. It is a cop-out. I'm so glad he said it.
Me too. And for me, watching the second to last episode was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. That's what he said to her.
I don't know what that episode was, but I also,
it's
at
the
that
fight
moment.
Episode.
Right.
It's the fight episode.
But it's also like, again, I can't just set aside that, like, Kyle, that fight happened because Kyle was horrible. Like, it just
I
is
hear
like
you.
Kyle, like, at a certain point, I just want to be like, stop talking before you bring yourself into this. Like,
I hear you.
Anyways.
Amanda says that she will bring herself to watch after the reunion or at some point. And everyone's like, it's too late, dude. It's too late. Fuck you. It's too late. This is what you signed up for, ma'am.
And I thought this was really interesting when she's like, I'm not playing victim again. It's like, tell your tone, tell your look, tell your attitude, tell your cop-out behavior. Yes, you are.
And Ciara rightfully says, you choosing to not watch is a reflection of how you don't care.
That is so true. And I think that is what's gutting. It's like, it seems inconceivable. It's so hard for me to even say, but it does seem like Amanda doesn't care. I think Wes cares not about the people he's hurt, but about the harm this will do to his following and reputation.
How he
for
looks, his
a
perception.
brief time. But he'll regain it. He's a classic case. Like, this will blow over for him in ways that
I really hope not.
It will. It always does. I mean, I would be surprised if he's somehow the exception to the rule. But yeah, I don't think Amanda cares. Sad.
Gross.
This is when Andy comes for Amanda saying, I think the thing that is killing people and the reason we're so upset is it feels like such a friend betrayal. And these scenes of Ciara trying to give you the strength to leave your relationship. And then they do a montage of those scenes where Ciara is so direct and specific. And I don't use the word perfect often, but like perfectly supportive, not forcing any decisions on her, but just showing Amanda what's available to her in terms of a life outside of a marriage that seems to be harming her, and Ciara's willingness to help her get there. It's so hard to watch again. And Amanda just says, I did a really shitty thing. And Ciara's like, you're still doing a really shitty thing. This may have been when Amanda says, like, I wanted both. And it's like, you what? Like, you really didn't think about anything. Everybody wants both, you dumbass. But like, the hallmark of being an adult is that, like, well, I know that I can't both drive and mix a cake. Like, you just, at a certain point, you understand you have to choose one or the other. Otherwise, everybody is in harm's way. And she just didn't choose one or the other, put everyone in harm's way, and now is upset that she got in an accident.
She chose herself. She chose herself.
I don't like herself. That girl sucks.
So Andy asks Amanda, what are you feeling and thinking in regards to the betrayal? And please direct your answer at Ciara, please.
When Andy asked her, he's like, what are you thinking and feeling? And Amanda goes, about.
Yeah,
and
dude,
he's like,
seriously.
Andy like looks at his lap and like it looks like he's grinding his jaw. He's like, about the betrayal. Like, are you fucking kidding? I have to tell you. And that's when he says like, and maybe address Ciara. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, that was wild. That was fucking wild.
And then she talks about herself.
This has been a very crazy, confusing and crazy time. There's been a lot of feelings I've sorted through. I've developed feelings for someone that I wasn't supposed to in a way that I wasn't expecting to. There were times I lost sleep. Oh, did you, Mandy? I didn't eat thinking about what this was going to do to our friendship. Even the fact that these feelings existed. I fucked up and I am deeply sorry for betraying your trust, and it kills me to know that I've caused you this pain.
And is that when she says, you don't deserve a friend like me? At some point in one of these speeches, she says, you don't deserve a friend like me. And I was like, oh, you martyr.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim, you guys,
Yeah.
but I'm going to flagellate myself and it's not going to land. So Ciara interrupts her and says, no, it doesn't, Amanda. You texted me 24 hours before your fucking statement is going to come out. Finally admitting the truth about it.
And we see a screenshot of these text messages, and we see, I paused it, of course, and Amanda had been texting Ciara first being like, hey, what's going on? This is crazy, right? And then like, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay. And then finally, like she said a half hour before the statement comes out, like, hey, I guess we should talk. Like, it's just there in literal black and white. Like, you are a liar and then you got caught and now you're trying to do damage control. You don't care. At any stage of this, you don't care. Ick.
So she says, you texted me 24 hours before your fucking statement is going to come out. Finally admitting the truth about it. And then Ciara starts to cry. Ciara says, I was calling Kyle, going, what the fuck is this? Lindsay had to come pick me up off the floor so I could get up and do my fucking job because I couldn't fathom that I would be sitting here today pissed that you're fucking my ex. And he propositioned you and you said, yeah, let's do it. At the slightest, if you were my friend ever, you would be like, that would be a big fuck you to Ciara. Why would I ever do that to her? If anything, you would be like, he wants revenge against her because he fucking resents her so much. But that never even crossed your mind because he wants to embarrass me and he wants to get his last word. This is his last little word, and I hope it works because he's with you to spite me. So have fun. And poor Jessie at this point is crying again.
I'm with Jessie. Like, I swear to God, like this, it gobsmacked me that seeing Ciara cry and Amanda be so cold, shut down, and heartless was like, it was upsetting. Like, I get it. I would have been Jessie too. It's just like, it's unbelievable what is happening. It's unbelievable.
Ugh, come get your girl, Katie DeLuca.
And then Andy asked Ciara which scenes have been the most difficult for her to watch. And she is honest, which means she's crying. So that's indicative of a human telling the truth about something that caused them pain. And she said it was the last episode when they're all leaving the house. And regardless of this affair, something in the air made it feel like it was going to be a major pivot. It was emotional for Ciara to see the scene of her and Amanda saying goodbye. And Ciara's crying intensifies. And Ciara was talking about watching back, holding Amanda's face, telling her how special she is. She's seen, she's loved, she deserves the best. She says, it fucked me up. And then she says, it's bittersweet. And I bristled at that at first, but I'm like, no, that's true. And that's what's hard, is it's not just like, fuck you, bye, cut off. It's like all of the sweetness of the friendship is still alive, but you just poured this like hateful molasses of shit over it. And so it's going to die eventually under the weight of whatever this is that just landed. But like, it takes a minute. And the sweetness is still a close enough memory that the bitterness is confusing and devastating.
So Andy asks Ciara, do you regret the final weekend in pushing Amanda to do something about ending her relationship? And Ciara says no, because I wanted her to feel a sense of relief. I wanted her to be able to exhale for a second. I want her to be able to think about herself and what she wants in this life. That made me sad to see a woman not believe in herself and not think that she was worth anything, or not think that she was worthy of something so great, or that her value equated to the man that she was dating, or that she just completely obliterated her own dreams in order to fall in line with the guy she's married to. And then she she goes out. She big pictures us, and I love this for us. Ciara says, I've never seen that type of relationship in my life, but I've also never seen a healthy marriage in my life. I've seen a woman who had to fight tooth and nail to support 2 kids, and her mom passed away early, so she had to figure things out and work 2 and 3 jobs to support her kids. But that independence and that financial freedom and that drive and that build, it's worth it. That's where she was coming from when she urged her friend to take a month away. Not a year lease on an unfurnished apartment, a month away to clear her head.
I love Ciara for being like, there's no bitterness or vengefulness in this. She's like, I don't take it back, because at that time I saw a woman who was in pain and shrinking in her own life.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to let her know she was supported and becoming bigger and stepping into her light some more. And that again, it's like Ciara is so trustworthy, because even in a moment when she would have every right to be like, yeah, I do regret that. Like, Amanda deserves nothing good. I hope she suffers till she dies. She's like, no, she was in a bad marriage and I wanted her to have an opportunity to get to know herself and find something better. And then Andy has to ask for Amanda's response. Like any normal human being would, that would have brought me to tears.
Oh my God. I would have vaporized. It would have been my little earrings, my mic pack.
Amanda just robotically responds, I've been extremely appreciative of everything that Sarah's done for me and has been there for me throughout the years. I know I have fucked up an incredible friendship, and that is something I will live with for the rest of my life. I forgot she has vocal fry. No matter what happens in this situation, and I guess that was her referring to West. Gross. I will walk away from the set today and be doing a lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting, and maybe spending a lot of time just thinking about me and what's important to me. But I cannot say sorry more to you, Ciara, until I'm blue in the face. I am truly sorry for what I have done. Truly, you do not deserve a friend like me. That's where she says it. But again, it's so vague.
Yeah.
Ciara was just so specific about
Completely.
here's what I saw. Here's how I wanted to help her. Here's where that came from in me. And she's like, I'll say sorry till I'm blue in the face. You don't deserve a shitbag like me.
This is another example of Amanda using buzzwords and apology speak, just like she did at the race dinner, saying, I see you. And she didn't.
And there's no emotion. It's tapped into nothing in her spirit or her soul. She's just saying words. And again, it's like, I guess West was right to be quiet, because I swear it's more offensive when they talk.
It is. Yeah, that's
Wow.
such a good point. That's such a good point. So Lindsay asks Amanda, like, what did you think was going to happen? Knowing Ciara, how do you not know what this was going to do to this friendship?
Knowing Ciara, she like reaches her hand out, because like that's what all of us have been saying in like the podcast universe. It's like, what the fuck? How could you? So I love that Lindsay like leaned into that and was like, you know everything about her, not just what all these other people see on the show. You know her, and you fucking, oh my God.
I know.
Anyway, sorry. I just thought that was Lindsay again, like really had some moments in this episode where I was like, thank God
so
you're
many
there.
moments. Absolutely. And Amanda, all she can say is, I wasn't thinking it fully through. Oh my God, dude. So Andy checks it again with Jesse, because Jesse is so emotional right now. A lot of emotions are coming up for him. And Carl takes over to explain where Jesse's emotionality is coming from, because he's crying. And Carl says, over the summer, one of Jesse's friends hooked up with one of Jesse's exes and lied about it to Jesse's face for months. So this is really personal for Jesse now. Like, he's being betrayed. A past hurt is being re-scabbed and losing West.
Well, and it's so parallel to what Lindsay just said to Amanda about Ciara. Knowing her, I might say the same to West. Knowing Jesse went through this over the summer, that his friend was hooking up with his ex,
Lying about it.
You go and pull the same shit and also lie about it. But it did make me think about, I mean, whatever. It's probably all woo-woo and shit. But like over the course of my life, I used to dismiss it, but now I found it to be true that like the universe will continue to deliver the same lesson until you learn it.
100.
And I feel like Jesse's just getting a concentrated, whatever the universe is trying to teach him, like careful who you trust, careful who you bring into your inner circle so quickly. Like, I don't know what he's meant to learn from this, but to within months of each other have two people who he considered brothers do something disgusting to him or near him, and then the most disgusting thing, lie to him about it while saying that he's still your friend. Like, Jesse is meant to learn something here, obviously, because that is too much of one thing. He's ready to be done with whatever that pattern is, but God, it comes with this much pain. I mean, he is like wet with tears. His whole face is just like, yeah, he's just can't stop crying.
I was just thinking about that phrase the other day, or that phenomenon we used to talk about, especially in 12-step rooms, like your higher power will try to get your attention with a whisper, then a tap, then a feather, and then eventually it's fucking like an avalanche of rocks because, like, dude, I've been trying. I have been trying to get your attention. And when things come up for me, I had a huge freak out over a technical issue a couple weeks ago. Like, I just went out of my mind. Like, I was so dysregulated from it. I was having an Adderall crash and having a severe ADHD moment, and it was awful. My point is that a week later, another technical issue came up, and I was like, I got it this time. I was like, Ramona. I was like, I started to panic, and I was like, we can fix this. We can fix this. And I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. It's slow, but I'm getting it. You know, anyway, it just made me think about that. So, yeah, Jesse says he feels like he's losing a brother and tells West, I somehow hope you can improve and prove us wrong, but it doesn't look good. And Andy asks West, how do you feel? Like, what's your reaction hearing Jesse say this to you? I fucking hate that. And obviously, Jesse, we were incredibly close. Hearing him say it doesn't look good is devastating. I wanted to be here today and apologize and try to articulate. The friendships here matter to me so fucking much, and it sucks knowing I'm responsible for watching the cracks in all of this.
Again, no emotion, no
Absolutely not.
watering of eyes, no cracking of his voice, just words.
Which leads
And
Andy to say, what?
thank God like Andy's had it. He's like, no offense, but are you on like a bunch of beta blockers? Everyone is so emotional around you, about you, and and Andy just wipes his hand over his face with no reaction. Like, you're just fucking dead on your feet here, buddy. And Wes says he's trying to stay composed as much as possible. But like, why? I guess that's also the thing. You're not on a witness stand. Like, you're trying to make amends with your friends.
I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do. That's such a good question.
Yeah. And Ciara's like, or you're just a sociopath. And then I love Jesse for just trying to see if West is still capable of telling the fucking truth. Jesse goes, are you on a beta blocker? Like, can you answer the simplest question truthfully? And West even then hesitates. He takes a pause and goes like, yeah, I took a beta blocker. And you can see the difference in West's energy when he tells the truth by admitting he took a beta blocker than in the entirety of this reunion prior to that question. It's amazing. Because I believe him that he took a beta blocker. But then he's so fucking diabolical. He's like,
diabolical.
but I don't think that's why I'm not like sobbing right now. I'm like, oh.
He apologizes for not reading emotional enough.
What the
It's all about like what I look like, how you're going to perceive
And
me.
I apologize for it, not like, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I see you going through. Nothing connecting on a human level at all. It's so fucking disturbing.
And he says, if I was sitting next to Jesse instead of Carl, I would be putting my arms around Jesse right now.
Jesse just shakes his head.
Yeah, dude.
He gets that shit smelling face on, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he shakes his head no. Because like, what are you talking about? Nobody knows who you are anymore. Don't put your arms around me. You're a stranger.
Yeah, dude.
Ugh.
And
he doesn't get it.
He doesn't.
It's crazy. He really thinks he can get away with this fucking line of defense.
So yeah, I mean, I've already talked about my own beta blocker experience. Took them for years, morning and night, in the morning and at night before I went to bed. I joked about this with Josh yesterday. I said, motherfucker says beta blockers. I'm like, babe, do we wish that I would have had that reaction on beta blockers? Like some of the times, like, oh God, can we not have Hurricane Ramona like right this second? Trust me, that is not
Well, and
fucking beta
Ciara
blocker.
took to the internet to be like,
Yeah, she
hello,
did.
I am a nurse, and beta blockers block the physical manifestations of a panic attack, racing heart, sweaty palms, feeling like you're going to faint and throw up. It does nothing to dull your emotional life. So West is dead as an emotional being, apparently.
And I guess to bring it back to therapy, the fact that I have been off of beta blockers for months and months and months and months and months now means some of the stuff I'm doing is working. Yeah. Yahoo!
It's great, but they are a useful tool.
Oh, they're wonderful. But
I've developed a very strange phenomenon since like the very end of last year. I have panic attacks in theater experiences now. Like it's so weird. So now I just put like a half a beta blocker in my pocket. So in case it starts to like become a full-blown panic attack, it is phenomenal intervention in terms of like stopping the racing heart, the feeling like I'm going to like die and throw up and faint all at once. Yeah, it's a very useful tool, but it is a blocker of physiological symptoms.
Responses, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
it is not.
Yes.
It doesn't go to your brain and turn off your emotional connection to reality.
No.
It just keeps your hands from shaking if you're giving a speech.
But I am so grateful that my anxiety has lifted enough that I don't need pharmaceutical intervention twice a day in the form of beta blocker like I used to. Anyway, so Andy Cohen just straight up asks Amanda, was it worth it? And Bailey pleads out loud, please say no, please say no, please say no. Fucking A, dude. Bailey, my love, wake up. Please.
No, but she was saying, I think she was hoping that this would be the moment where Amanda would. Now at this point, Amanda has heard about Wes sending Meija flowers in February, which was clearly news to her. She's heard more. So I think there is that hope. And it's what Carl yells at her about later. It's the same place of like, come on, dude, do the right thing. You can do the right thing. You see this, right? I know you. You're smart enough to, okay, fuck. Nope. Great.
Yep.
Because Amanda gives her weird answer, and Bailey underneath that says like, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth. You know what I mean? Like she's affirming to herself what she knows, and everyone else on that stage knows to be true. This was not and will not be worth it.
To answer Andy's question, was it worth it? Amanda says, it's impossible to answer at this moment because I wish I could have both. Oh my God.
That was the craziest. That was the most selfish, just selfish on every level. Again, you're so immature and so self-centered in a way that actively, immediately harms other people. That is the craziest. I just wanted both. Oh my God.
So Andy says, let me ask very clearly, are you two in love? Wes kind of short-circuited and says, we're not using the word love right now. At the same time, Amanda says, it's so early. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Also, are you a fucking 12-year-old?
Right?
You guys are in your 30s. You broke up a marriage. You broke up a friend group. Like, please just say, yes, we are saying I love you, or no, we're not there yet. I love Lindsay again for calling them out on, you're having conversations about whether or not to say I love you. Are you looking at the wreckage on the stage that you've created and you think that's okay? Fuck you guys. Or just say, Amanda, just tell the truth. I'm rebounding. I'm just getting some good dick. You know, word on the street is like West is great in the sack. And apparently it must be worth it at this time in her life to have blown up everything to this degree. So enjoy it. It'll be short-lived and we'll see you on the other side. But instead, it just becomes this like long conversation about like, we're not saying it, but we're talking about it because we wouldn't not be in love and do this, but we're not saying we're in love. And it's like, I literally feel like I'm listening to middle schoolers talk about like, does he like me? Like, stop it.
And then Jesse comes in like he's fucking done. And he just goes, he told me he thinks he loves her.
But again, it's like, I just think everything Wes says is a lie. I think he said that to Jesse because he knows Jesse wants this dalliance to have meaning. So he told Jesse, I think I love her, but he clearly hasn't told Amanda that. He just performs for the audience he has, and he doesn't give a shit who gets hurt. He doesn't give a shit. It's amazing.
It's fucking wild. Wes says that he is very much committed to this relationship.
Okay.
And Andy asks, do you think you could be falling in love? And Amanda says, well, that's the conversations we've had. And Meija just laughs in disgust. And Amanda says, you can laugh at me all you want. Trust me. We're laughing.
Also, the impulse in Amanda to have anything to say to anyone who finds her unbelievable to the point of laughter. Look at what you've done, you psycho. You told all these people this wasn't happening, and now they're having to listen to you justify why. It is funny and devastating. It's all of the things because it's so crazy. So let her laugh and don't call her out. And again, don't victimize your damn self.
Totally.
You can laugh at me all you want, but yes, you can. Everybody can. Ugh. They're so mean to me. It's so hard. Fuck off.
So Wes clarifies they haven't said it, but yes, they are having conversations. And Bailey just says, Wes is going to embarrass her. Wes is going to embarrass you, Amanda. And Amanda clarifies we're having conversations about the seriousness of our feelings and where we see this going because we knew there was so much on the line. And Meija asks, are you exclusive? And Wes says they are. And Carl leans towards Amanda and in the most, are you fucking kidding me tone, asks her, and you still want to be with him? After all this shit, Amanda? You see this behavior? He's hooking up with 4 different girls and your former best friend. That's fucking crazy.
And Amanda does that dismissive thing where she doesn't turn her head to look at him and goes like, okay, I hear you. Basically like, you're crazy. You're out of control. You're being hysterical. Got it.
Again, if Carl Radke is telling me I should hold myself to a higher standard like he did in Reunion Part 1, and he says... That's fucking crazy to me. In that tone, I'm going to vaporize from shame. I'm going to evaporate into just a pile of like self-hatred goo.
I mean, I think it was coming from a place of love. It's after 10 hours of trying to methodically get through to her. And I think he just hit his limit and was like, dude, like, because he does, like, he has been in her life for all these years too. And I think, again, he's another person who hit the moment where he's like, you've got to be kidding me. You can't seriously be sitting there believing this piece of shit. And even if you do believe him, you know what he did. Like, how you get him is how you lose him.
Totally.
You're next. I appreciated that moment in Carl, and I also appreciated his ability to rein it back in when he knew he wasn't going to get through to her. And instead of persisting, which I have a problem doing and I work on regularly, if the audience isn't listening, like, step away from the mic.
Seriously. So Andy asks Wes, are you able to give Amanda what she needs in a partner?
What does Amanda? I didn't understand that question. What does she need in a partner? I don't know who she is.
I don't know who she is either. I don't fucking know either. I don't know. But Wes says, I'm committed to making the effort to do it. My history does not say so. But I think if Amanda and I can get back to what our early days were. And I was like, bro, where do we even start with this one? He's totally setting up his exit strategy right there. Amanda, just like so much shit happened and we can never get back to like that time when it felt really good. A. B, talking about their early days when they were sneaking around and like dripping in like limerence and like chemicals and all the infatuation, making it exciting. It's like, that is not...
Everyone jumps on them. Lindsay is like, are you fucking kidding me? You want to get back to the honeymoon phase like 6 weeks ago? And that's when Carl and everyone else chimes in, like, that's when it's fun. That's when it's like new and romantic, when you're infatuated with each other. And someone else is saying like, and you guys were sneaking around. That's what makes it exciting. Like the whole stage is erupting, going like, everyone, ask anyone in a long-term relationship if they want to get back to the beginning. Of course. But the beginning happens at the beginning. And then you build a relationship that like revisits that feeling on occasion, but grows deeper in a way where like that feeling is specific to not knowing each other very well.
Exactly. So gross. And Lindsay says it perfectly. Not this one. He's like every other guy. And Andy again presses Wes to define early days. And Wes says, when this relationship was blossoming and we started to feel things.
And I feel like that's Wes' addiction right there. When
Totally.
he says, I want to get back to the early days when this relationship was blossoming and we started to feel things. And that is what he chases, woman after woman after woman after woman. And then when they become real or have a need or get sick or are unavailable or cause shit like Ciara and he resents her, or cause shit like Amanda and he, has to do this, put energy toward trying to show up for her. I'm committed to making this work. Like all he wants is the blossoming and catching feelings part, and then some sex, and then he's on to the next. Ugh. And then Amanda defends him, saying like, he just means like when we haven't been dealing with the fallout and the turmoil. The fallout is all on you guys.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the results of you being a disgusting liar.
Yeah.
So like, you should be digging into that and supporting each other through that and getting better, becoming better people because of this moment in time. But instead, she blames everyone else for putting them through a fallout. I just am like, I just get more and more disgusted, like exponentially as we reach the end of this. So.
Same.
Ugh.
And West has the audacity to say, I care about the friendships in this room. And Lindsay's all, that's a lie, that's
I
a
love
lie.
her for saying
Me
that.
Me too. And he hopes one day that some of his relationships and friendships in that room can heal. And in the Peacock version, this is where Andy asks Amanda, did you tell West at the Yankees game, act like you like me? And she says that was probably the sentence, but it was the end of a longer thought.
Which, I mean, it's just so condemning. It's just like, great, so it's over. So he already hated you way back then, and now we're much deeper into this, and he still hates you.
Oh, my God.
So Wes says he knows he's hurt people. He hurt Ciara and Kyle specifically, and he claims it breaks his heart, and that he's sorry, and that, you guys know your friendships matter to me. And Ciara cuts him off. God, I love her for jumping on every single one of these, like, platitudes they try to get away with. She's like, we actually don't know. We don't know who you are. You're a completely different person than you lead on to be. And that agreed. Because I bought West's act because I'm not Meija. I saw West on TV. I didn't know she existed. I don't know what he probably presented to her, whatever. Whatever he presents to his family as like loving boyfriend giving it a go with this cruel girl. Like he's just so, oh my God, diabolical. And Kyle goes hard at Wes, what will likely prove to be an addiction. I don't know if he'll ever heal it. He says, how many situationships does it take to get off and feel like the man, And Wes just goes, that's a good question. I've never really. And I was like, Wes is just placating everyone and just, again, stepping away from any responsibility. Just like, hey, good thought, man. I'll carry that with me. Fuck you, dude.
God, that's so gross.
It's his wife. You're fucking his wife.
Yeah.
Give him a little more than, that's a good question.
I was like, get thee to slaw. That was my note. Get to slaw. Get to Sex and Love
Sex and Love
Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Go,
Yeah.
go, Wes, go. And Lindsay's like, as long as he gets followers from each and every one, he can get something out of it. And Andy sends them all to take a short break. And in Lindsay's dressing room, she and Meija are chatting. And Meija says, Lindsay, it's been 10 hours and I still have no clarity. And Lindsay and Meija both say that they're walking away knowing less than they did before the fucking day started. And on stage, we see Andy checking in with Wes, like, how are you feeling?
But it's really interesting setup. At this point, everyone's kind of dispersed. So it's just Andy, West alone on his couch, and then Kyle and Ciara sort of, futzing with their clothes on their couch. Andy asks Wes how he's feeling, and he goes, horrible. And I loved Kyle's question, and I believe him. I'm honestly just trying to figure out how much you care. And Ciara crosses through the conversation as she leaves the stage and goes, he doesn't.
Yep.
And I just feel like that is the truth. We're all trying to figure out how much West and Amanda care. And I think Ciara encapsulates it perfectly with like, they don't. If they cared, they couldn't have gone 10 hours not breaking down in tears, apologizing, begging for forgiveness, and seeking help.
Oh, my God.
But instead, they just pulled a bunch of neutral, monotone bullshit and left everybody with nothing. And then Kyle starts to leave the stage and he runs into Amanda, who's
God.
re-entering. And she just grabs him and looks at him for a minute and then hugs him, which made me mad at this point because I'm like, don't use him. Like, you know, everyone's fucking turning on you and now you're going to try and win him back over. And she goes, we'll talk tomorrow. And they hug and the microphones catch their hearts beating. And it like, that actually like broke my heart. And Kyle starts sobbing, you know? And I don't think it's because he's sad about or for Amanda. I think the whole situation is just so devastating. Like the summer house level of it, the personal marriage part of it, the West piece of it. Like, I think it just all landed on Kyle as he's hugging this person who like is kind of a stranger now, but who he still knows better than anyone else. But he also is now realizing he doesn't know her at all.
At all.
She lied
At all.
a lot.
And he says when he's sobbing, I hate when our 10-year relationship is talked about as if it was 100% bad. And all she says is, I know, I'm sorry, and then walks away. It was
She sucks.
wild. So Lindsay comes back on stage and she's on fucking fire and she's had it and she's not going to take it anymore.
She's swilling a glass of wine.
Yep.
And she goes, Andy, I've learned nothing. Like, she's amazing. There's not a lot of clarity.
Why did it take today to think through any of this? I'm so confused how such a big decision, such a high risk, and you say you weighed it all, but you didn't. All these guys are a mess. Motioning to Carl, Jesse.
The cast.
Everybody. And if you weighed all these decisions, surely you must have thought how it would affect more than just the four of you. And I'm looking at you, Wes, because you're the manipulator here. It affects our entire friend group. It affects people's livelihoods, careers. Today's the day you just thought about that? It's very short-sighted for a fucking hookup, for a fling. This whole day has been overshadowed. All we want is to get clarity, and all you come up with is we have a lot to think about after this.
Yes, Lindsay. Yes. Oh my God.
And Amanda
That
says,
was
I have a lot to
amazing.
think about.
Oh, she's such a dumbass.
She's such a...
And she, you know, is sure to drive home like after today.
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay. That was Lindsay's entire point in her speech, you dumbass.
And then Andy asks Kyle, how do you navigate the future, Kyle? And Kyle says, and I thought this was really very medicine of Kyle, to be honest with you. I thought this was very minimal ego. I'm at peace with having a feeling that no one would really care about my side. I'm putting my focus on an amicable breakup. I really don't know. I know I said on Watch What Happens Live, I'd be happy with whatever makes Amanda happy. But candidly, I never thought this was going to be possible.
None of us did, dude.
Dude, no.
Because it still feels impossible. It just is so gross.
It's
It can't
disgusting.
be real.
And Andy asks Ciara, was this day cathartic for you to get it all out today? Do you feel like you can move forward in your life?
Because Andy says, like, because I don't see you reconciling with either one of them.
Yeah.
At least he was clear about how deep this betrayal is and how unresolved it is after 10 hours of talking. They gave nothing. So he's like, sorry, but, you know, obviously you're not going to move forward with them. Can you just find closure and move on for yourself?
And she says, it was cathartic in some ways, and it's nice to move on with my life. And to close out the reunion, Andy shares that Ciara raised $160,000 for Girl Scout.
That's a ton of
troop.
money.
It is a ton of money. Group 6,000, a troop that serves families living in temporary housing in New York City, which is huge. And so instead of toasting with booze, they're toasting with Thin Mints. And Amanda scolds West, telling him not to eat it yet because they'll be cheersing with the cookies. And West's
Which it
face,
seems like they don't even, like, oh my God, yeah, West was like,
Yep.
ugh.
And Andy says it's ironic. This was the most fun summer house to watch, and it was the least fun reunion they've ever done. Like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And he salutes and thanks the newbies profusely for bringing their openness and sharing tonight. And he has them take a group photo, and then he steps out, and they take a group photo without Andy. And then we see clips from next week's summer house, the aftermath.
I didn't know this was coming.
I don't think any of us did. None of us
Really?
knew. Fuck yeah, dude. Good.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm curious, and then I'm ready to put it to bed. Because this was so unsatisfying via Amanda and West. And not that I think they're going to give us much different in these private conversations they have, but at least, again, I love Lindsay. In the preview they showed, Lindsay was like, he's already made an ass of you, you fucking idiot. Like, she's more like, her like New York accent is getting thicker. You know, she just like, she has no time for anyone who is trying to peddle bullshit like these two. And I love her for it.
Listen, she's a former publicist, current MILF. She has no time.
Yeah.
She has no time. Well, friend, I know it doesn't seem like we watch anything else, but what else did you watch?
I am watching the NBA finals and I am riveted. I watched the season premiere of Below Deck Mediterranean, which is, again, always just a delight to see like blue seas and idiots on a boat. And then I watched this stupid show. I had to do some writing that I wasn't motivated to do without some sort of outside noise. So as I do, I put on a show, and it's the show called Calabasas Confidential.
Oh my God.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it's perfect because it like mostly numbed me out so I could hear people talking while I was typing, and that made my writing go faster. But occasionally all roads lead back to Bravo, of course. We got a Larsa Pippen cameo. We got a Brandy Glanville cameo. But I will say Larsa Pippen's kid, Preston, who's darling and adorable, absolutely just in the sweetest way, just fucking read her for Phil. You know, and he breaks down crying. He's a child of divorce, and he explains what that did to him. And as a kid, when your mom is dating Future, the rapper, who releases a song saying, I don't remember what the lyrics were, but it was something about like, I just slam dunked your wife or whatever. And this poor kid has to go to school and be like, oh, your mom's a hoe. And then, you know, like, anyways, 99% of it is people going to La La Land Cafe going like, my matcha's perfect. And then there's, you know, 4% of it that's like Preston and some worthwhile look at like kids newly graduated from college trying to figure out what to do. But they're kids with like all the resources in the world, so they're not really going to struggle. Anyways, that's what I watched. What did you watch this week?
Oh, let's see. Making through Hacks season 5, Widow's Bay, also watching basketball, season 6 of Summer House, and I forgot. I think I started Calabasas Confidential a couple weeks ago, or like when I was recording solo, and I forgot to bring it up. I don't know if I pushed it out of my memory or what, but it's very much, it has to be on while I'm playing my Game Boy or something, because like, holy shit, it is something else.
It's like desperately boring, and also I hope there's a second season, and I don't know what that says about me or the show or any of it, but whatever.
Totally. And then Josh and I tried to watch the first episode of Love Island, and he looked at me, he's like, babe, I can't hang. This is too gnarly. I can't do it. And I was like, I get it. It is so weird to watch people go from 0 to full making out. It's creepy when you think about it. It's real creepy. Anyway. And friend, what was your antidepressant?
My antidepressant was, I got to spend time with a high school friend of mine. She runs like a theater and dance company. So I went to go see a production they put on over the weekend. It was good to see Hillary.
Let's see. My antidepressant is Leo went to a birthday party on Saturday, and it was about a half hour away, and it was close to a mall. And so Josh and I, it wasn't enough time for us to come back home and do something in Oakland. So we hung out at this mall and had lunch and held hands walking around the Vans store, you know?
I love that. That's very sweet.
Like when I get to spend time with him just by myself, it feels so special that even walking around like a random mall, killing time was fucking great.
Yeah. And like it makes those moments holding hands in the van store like sweeter.
It was just really fun. Oh, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Take good care of yourselves in whatever way feels good and authentic to you. And just don't be like Wes and Amanda, I guess. And then you're winning at life.
And yes, we will talk more about these bozos next week.
We will talk next week, you guys. Oh my gosh, aftermath. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.